Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of MTG Study Hall. I am one of your hosts, Brett, and I am joined by JC and Lily. We've got plenty to talk about today. A lot of news that just hit. Before we do that, we have a little bit of bookkeeping to take care of. So first of all, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you want more of us or could pass us around, we are on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, at those various websites /TCG University. We are also available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Tell people about us, rate us 5 stars on the podcast streaming apps. If you can pass our videos around, that's the biggest thing. Telling somebody about the video is how we get new viewers, so we always appreciate that. Anything you can do to help spread this around if you like the show would be appreciated. And if you don't like the show, why are you watching this? You only have so much time. Why would you watch this show if you don't like us? Anyway, we have some Patreon junior and higher sponsors to thank. We've got Addie, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albano, Bryce Rathsack, Clay Cardwell, Jacob Arson Masur, Jay Rogers, Jesse Siravin, Jesse Morrison, Jesse Nix, Justin Farst, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Kyle Kraus. Oh, God, every time, Kyle K. I'm so sorry. I have a hard to pronounce K last name. I feel your pain. Lucinda Letica, Orlando Valdez Santos, Paul Casagrande, Ransom MacArthur, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Timothy Friedlieb, Tamers Evolutions TCG, and Tyler Zane Pease. Thank you all so much. Those are our Patreon or junior, Patreon junior and higher sponsors. In addition to that, quick shout out to our sponsors: Nuclear Ink Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop, Red Riot Games, Cards, Custom Build, Ink Gaming, and Dex Protection. We will have a little bit more about them at the ad break. So that is all the bookkeeping. So let's just do a quick past couple weeks. What have we been doing in Magic? Lily, you want to start us off?
Oh, gosh. Been throwing myself against the current Brawl environment, again, to no avail. I mean, fix your format, please.
God, if people cared more, every episode would just be why they need to stop printing 5-colored good stuff Brawl commanders. But I don't think anyone other than the two of us and maybe Kat care at all.
I want to play Brawl. I want to like Brawl. I want to have the same feelings from Brawl as I get from Commander. But it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Until we get multiplayer arena, it's not. Anything else or just playing Brawl?
No.
JC, how about you? The past couple weeks in Magic.
So I spent entirely too much money on Secret Lair because I bought those fancy lands that they're coming out with, and then I bought the fairy stuff because I'm not missing out on more 90s pop grungy art because I missed out on the ooze, and that made me sad. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Arena. Like, I was so resistant to playing Arena for so long, and then I was just like, I'll play Arena, and then it turned into like 8 hours of playing Arena.
We switched because I am taking such a huge break compared to where I was playing, and now you're playing like you was playing.
Yeah, you didn't stream the other night, and I was almost gonna do a standard with JC.
Oh my God, feel free. I'm been taking a little break just to recharge my batteries, so I'm not I will certainly come back to streaming. I'm just doing a little bit of a recharge, focusing on some other things, trying to enjoy other games. So if you want to take my streaming slot, it's yours.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Cats because of fun. I mean, I drafted a little bit too, and so there's actually a lot of Cats in Standard right now that are actually pretty good, and a lot of support for creature types and stuff. And I found more than that. It's a thing about Magic that I feel that synergy is super important in a deck. So even if your deck has somewhat underpower versus other things, if your deck has a whole lot of synergy, you actually have a reasonable chance of doing pretty okay.
Oh yeah.
So I've just been playing Standard. Tybalt is annoying. And I don't like the dude who gives 2 poison counters to all Death Touchers, because there's a lot of Death Touchers, and that deck's annoying.
Is that a standard deck? The
yeah.
poison counter guy?
poison counter guy. I've seen a couple decks, and it's stupid.
I literally ranked Q. Preface.
Oh no, that's in bronze, but yeah.
Ray looks excited by this information. I need to play Magic the Gathering so I can talk about things like Standard and Brawl on the Magic the Gathering.
No.
Yeah. So
I know how many people like talk with authority about formats they don't fucking play on the internet. Like are you on Magic Twitter?
I'm mostly on Magic Reddit, which filters a lot of Magic Twitter in, but
that's true.
So yeah, there's I've seen a little bit of also like mill all your cards and cheat them in from your graveyard shenanigans going on.
I know that blue-black, like, rogue mill's a thing. People were complaining a lot about that on Reddit, at least pre-call time. Yeah, most of my feelings about Standard are completely predicated on Reddit complaint threads, so...
Oh, no.
Which is why I'm not speaking with any authority on Standard.
But yeah, and I have played against some of the poison counters are apparently a thing, again, guy in ranked Standard a little bit, so I don't like him. Yeah, so that's been me playing a lot of Arena, and I guess I play Standard in Arena because that's who I am. I don't know.
Well, good somebody's doing it.
I will say, Brett, getting your opinions on Standard from Reddit is probably still better than the Type 2 forums on MTG Salvation.
Do those still exist?
Well, it's not called Type 2 anymore,
but those forums, does MTG Salvation still exist?
Oh, yes.
God. That was a website I looked at in high school.
I still go there for spoilers.
That's right. I mean, I guess if that's your, everything's on Reddit immediately, so. And as for me and Magic, not much. I played a little Arena pre-show. I played Mono Red Chandra Control and Historic. Like I said, I'm kind of I'm keeping up with the news as best I can, but I'm taking a little break, recharging my Magic batteries. There's just been so much, so. I've been any Magic energy I've got, I'm trying to save up for the show. So I haven't been playing a ton.
It's called mana, right?
God damn you to hell. But yeah, so I very well may do many things, or I might say I'm going to try to do something and then just play other video games for the next 2 weeks. So we'll see. That'll be an exciting thing to tune into next episode to see if I've played any Magic the Gathering. Probably some.
Oh, also I want to mention I bought a print from Chris Ron of his cat that passed away. He got the opportunity to put Charm Stray. It's a cat card. It's a painting of his cat that passed away, and added into art. So it's actually a cool little story. If you go to Chris Ron's Twitter, he talks about it. I bought a print. Thank you for printing awesome cards, Chris, because you have badass art.
And I was going to say one last thing. I, too, spent too much money on Secret Lair because I was going to buy the Titan ones because I like the Titans and I play them in Commander. And I purchased that order. I did it, and I made it debit my card. And then I remembered that I wanted the lands, not because I don't like buying 5 basic lands because it pisses me off.
But you get to use them in Arena, too.
That's why I wanted to get them. So, quick public service announcement. There is a MTGO and MTGA redemption code. For Magic Online, you get one of each, which I think lets you put as many as you want into the deck. I'm not positive on that, but you at least get one of each on Magic Online. On Magic Arena, you get sleeves.
Yep.
You get 5 sleeves. So they aren't the basic land. I'm assuming at some point they'll probably put the basic land style into the game. I'm not upset.
I thought it was the style. Am I wrong on that?
I got it today, and unless it's the sleeves, I guess I did not go and check my lands, but it unlocked like the sleeve unlock, and I went and checked my sleeves, and there were 5 new sleeves in there, and they don't have the logo or anything. It's just the cool art full back on the sleeves, which I'm not upset about. I like having a bunch of different sleeves for Arena, so I bought that. Secret Lair solely for that, and the paper cards are superfluous to me. But if people want those as sleeves, the Secret Lair is going for a while longer. And then the Black is Magic one, which they announced before the Valentine's Day drop, isn't out yet, but that one starts on like the 22nd of February. So I'm also very excited for that drop. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Also, Arena public service announcement, since I recently got back into it. A simple Google search of MTG Arena codes. There's a ton of codes that you could just redeem to get cards and start off with cards. So if you're just starting off in Arena, do that.
Play Kaldheim will get you 3 packs. Yeah, there's a lot of like standard open ones.
Yep.
So yeah, and I know if they're still doing that F&M at home thing, it's real easy to just like snap a picture. I'm literally taking a picture of the screen, messaging it to Eric, and he messages me a code. So I got a lot of styles and sleeves by doing that. So that was real easy.
Nice.
But okay.
So how do the LGSs benefit from that?
They get, my understanding is they get numbers, and so it shows people still engaging with their stores. So
okay, so it's how they get their tournament numbers during the pandemic, basically.
I think so. I don't know if it's a 1-for-1 tournament numbers, but I'm assuming WotC tracks how many, like, we gave X store these numbers and then X were redeemed, so that means they're getting them to players and people are interacting. So that's my
question for Eric next time he's on.
Yeah, no, yeah, fair enough. Remind me, because I'd be interested to hear the answer to that. So, launching into things first. So, Gavin Verhey, I was going to look up his what is his title? Because he's not Morrow's head designer. Gavin Verhey, Magic Man, and employee at Wizards of the Coast.
He is a senior designer.
Okay, there we go. Senior designer Gavin Verhey has been doing a YouTube show, making magic. No, that's not it. That's one of Morrow's. That's Morrow's column.
It's some
so prepared. Hang on. I watched this video literally an hour ago, so I should have it memorized.
Good morning, Magic.
Good morning, Magic. So since the pandemic, he has been doing this show, which I've seen several episodes, kind of sporadically. I'll tune in, and it's been fun. And they're short little bursts. He's a lot of fun. He's high energy, and the recent video he put out is addressing issues with White's color pie. And basically, they open up by saying, JC, can we throw a link to the video in the
chat?
In the chat and in the deets?
I'll put in the doobly-doo too.
I will do it in both.
Thank you. So I'd recommend you watch. It's like 8 minutes. And basically, he just comes out and says, yeah, White is not where we want it to be in Commander. A lot of White's strength in Magic play better in 1v1 20-life Magic and not in multiplayer 40-life Magic. They're aware of this, and one of their goals in 2020 was to remedy this, and it is a continuing goal into 2021. He basically says it takes a long time to do this, and then he lays out multiple ways that they are helping White. I'm going to try to get them all from memory. He made sure he wanted us to stress, if you pass this on, that this is not necessarily all they are doing. There are other things they can't talk about, but one of the things they're trying to give White more of is card draw, and they're going to be trying to do that through symmetrical card draw. And he specifically said you and another opponent, so not this whole you draw a card and each opponent draws a card, which is horrendous card advantage.
It's awful in multiplayer.
So targeted card draw based on oh gosh, I'm mixing up the stuff here. Targeted card draw, card advantage via more reanimation and land reanimation and sort of Sun Titan effect graveyard play.
I like the acknowledgement that White can reanimate any kind of permanent, not just like low CMC stuff. So
yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, and I'm totally blanking on the other card advantage.
Yeah,
Flash, yeah.
Flash.
So White already gets combat trick. He makes this point to thing. White already gets combat tricks. They can stable a lot of value onto creatures with enters the battlefield triggers with Flash. And he didn't really mention this explicitly, but any creature with Flash is also a combat trick, just by virtue of being a creature that can block.
And that's so there are some White creatures with Flash in Standard right now, and he was talking about how we're going to get more, and that's exactly how I've seen those creatures used is as a defensive trick. So you leave the mana open, you pass the turn when they attack, and you flash in a creature and make a good trade.
Yeah, we have that, like, so particularly that new from the recent set, the prison effect creature, that like the legendary one that like eats an attacking, like exiles an attacking creature as long as it remains in play. Like that's really strong.
So we've been getting White Flash creatures for a while. We had Gideon's Mentor and like the core set that did their like backstories, and he has Flash. We've like the set where they keyworded Flash, Time Spiral. If you want to feel old,
I feel old.
They're remastering that set.
Well, so in that set, Flash was one of the, like, green got Flash, white got Flash. And then there are a few red cards and some blue cards. But it was...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, like, it was everywhere at first. And then they eased back on white because they're like, oh, well, white doesn't need this. We're going to put it in green and blue. And then they started putting it in black. And now they're like, oh, shit, let's put it back in white. So it's funny to see, like, white being, like, one of the main colors it was in, coming back full circle. So. And
he said they're targeting for a similar amount of black creatures with Flash to get that in white, which is, I mean, basically, he pointed out that they determined that for cards to be effective, they either need to, like, for that style of play to be effective, they either need Flash or Haste. And I think that tracks with red and green mostly having Haste. I don't think white needs a lot of Haste, but I also agree with the play pattern. Like, the card that he had flashed up on his video was like Teferi's Protection. So, like, there's a lot of interesting reasons to keep mana up in white. You've got removal, you've got ways to mess with your opponent and protect yourself, and being able to have those options and also have, hey, you didn't do that, or hey, you interact with my creatures in a negative way, I get to flash in somebody and crack back at you. Feels really good.
But it doesn't feel good when blue does it?
I'm not opposed to blue having it.
Hold on. But let's remember the Simic Flash deck, right? Where, like, everything had Flash and you didn't have to commit to any line of play, right?
Well, if I may, blue has a lot of other ways to, like, bounce your creatures or counter the thing you're doing. So them also having that, like, feels like blue has a lot when you add that on top of it.
So in the abstract, blue has fewer ways of dealing with that thing that is a problem than white does.
But see, I am more frustrated by I will counter or bounce everything and have a ton of creature support. I feel like that is more frustrating than I can play creatures or removal. I can do one of these two things, and so it's the same thing. It's less annoying to have your creature blown up than it is to have your creature countered. And balance-wise, your creature being able to hit play, we have so much staple to creature that you might have been able to eke out some value. So
but also a problem. Like,
also for me, like, it feels better to have my creature pacifismed or oblivion ringed than it does to have it bounced. I don't know why, but it does.
See, balance, I at least got to try it again. It's never fun. See, there's a fine balance. Counterspells are an important part of the game, and I think Flash creatures are important too. I think you just need to make sure you don't create a standard environment where you never have to... Nothing is sorcery speed. So as long as we're still making things that... It's not everything in white should have Flash, but white should have some more ways to have reactive. So I think pushing white up in that, so it's not just white weenies or blue-white control being the only decks that white can win with, I think is important. But I don't like decks or environments where the only correct answer is to instant speed things, which it's a whole other argument, is one of the reasons I really like Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers don't have Flash. Planeswalkers interact sorcery speed, so it's a resource and a thing that has to be interacted with generally via combat, and that your opponent is going to activate on your turn, and you're going to activate yours on your own turn, which I know Planeswalkers are divisive, but I like them, and I like back and forth sort of things.
Even if a Planeswalker did have Flash, usually it wouldn't be, like, overtly there wouldn't be any additional benefit besides just saving on the mana.
Yeah.
To playing a Planeswalker on an opponent's turn. Outside
of specific abilities on the Planeswalkers, like the new recent Teferi or other cards.
Right, because, like, even if you're doing it just to dodge an attack, I mean... It doesn't matter. You can activate it on your opponent's turn.
And that's one of the reasons I like about Planeswalkers is, outside of these weird corner cases, if you want value, you have to play them sorcery speed, so you can play them and then get their activation. By not playing them on, like, even if you have, like, a Vidalcan Orrery out or something, if you've given all your stuff Flash, you still don't want to generally Flash in Planeswalkers, because then you're missing an activation. So, I don't know. A reason I like walkers. But, so... Outside of, and if you want all the full details, again, I'd really recommend you check out the video, but they're working on white card advantage, they're working on white ramp via catch-up effects, if your opponents have more land than you, getting some, reanimating lands. Yeah, like Lily mentioned, he specifically brought up reanimating lands as a permanent type of something white gets to do. And treasure...
go ahead. I was going to say, he also brought up treasure, tax, and rules. That, like, are all things that they can push in white to give White a better power level, that they've been really kind of not printing a lot of tax cards recently. To be fair, I feel like a lot of tax cards, like older White tax cards, don't feel good, so I don't know.
Well, that's the card advantage he brought up, and actually that's a great point, because yeah, I don't love old style, like, it costs more to play this, or that stupid Scars cycle where, like, if you reveal it from your opening hand, like, the White one in that is, like, your first spell is countered unless you pay 1, which isn't a huge deal, but, like, every time that happens, it always feels like I'm sitting on a hand of, like, 2 mana ramp spells, and it's, like, such a huge tempo loss. Ugh, it sucks. Anyway, but the card he brought up, and specifically talking about getting White card advantage via taxes, is Mangara of Corondor. Mangara the Diplomat. Which is the recent Mangara card, and
not the time spiral one that had a weird timing on its ability that let you exploit it if you knew the game better.
But the new Mangara, I love that card. I run it in my Boros Dwarf deck. I like the taxing stuff to be like, you can do it. I'm just like, attack me with 2 creatures. I'm going to draw a card. Play your second spell. I'm going to draw a card. You don't have to do this. I'm not making it so you can't play your stuff. But if you want to do X, Y, or Z, I'm going to draw. That, it feels White, it's strong, and in Commander, everyone wants to play 2 spells. And if you run it in your Boros deck, people don't care that much if you just keep drawing dwarves, because you're just drawing dwarves, and how good are dwarves? And then you kill them with your dwarves, and it feels great.
Right.
Oh.
There's a point where drawing like 17 bad cards is better than your 3 good cards.
Which is the entire theory behind my Depala deck that runs 7 dwarves. Because yeah, if I eventually just keep playing 7 dwarves, I will kill you with 5/5s.
Also, I feel like that is a thing that I hear preached from Lily a lot, and a thing that people need to remember. Like, if you see your opponent drawing a bunch of cards, that's a problem, and stop them from doing it.
Yeah, which is, it's like and it's like with Ristic Study, it's always like pay the extra 1, and it's so easy to like convince everyone to play the extra 1. But with like Mangara, it's like, no, don't play your second spell. Like, to start getting advantage in like multiplayer games, you need to start playing multiple spells in a turn to really start accumulating things. So I don't know. I'm excited for a future of more taxation stuff that is less stop having fun and more, if you want to have fun, you got to pay the fun tax. So I also get to have fun. I've really enjoyed that card, and it's, if we keep it on that sort of level, it's not absurd. It's never seemed game breaking, but there's games I've won because I got to sit around with my unassuming 2/4 for 4, drawing 5-6 cards off it eventually.
So you're saying you're fine with the world instead of give your bit to Uncle Sam, give your bit to Uncle Brett.
Yeah, I mean I'm excited to see it. I like a lot of color combinations that have White in them. I like Mardu, I like Boros, and those are also color combinations in EDH that sometimes struggle, so it's exciting seeing these cards. And personally, the thing I think is, there were 2 other big things he told us. One was they are going to consider skewing rare ratios a little White in some products, maybe, to get more of these powerful White cards out there, which is great if you're going to help make up some of the disparity by saying we're going to put out more White rares and mythics in some of these supplemental products.
Oh, is that what he meant by that?
Yeah.
Like a higher portion of the new cards that are printed are going to be White cards.
Yes. For a bit,
I like that.
Bit of catch up. And then I think the most important thing here is that they are going to try and look at cards, and Hull Breacher was the pulled up card as he gave this example. When they have powerful effects, they're going to ask themselves, could this card be a White card? And if it could, they're going to tweak it and they're going to make it a White card.
Yeah, Hull Breacher could be like point for point could be a White card.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so I love the fact that they're willing to come out and say this. And this is gonna, I love Mark Rosewater. I love that he is willing to spend so much of his personal time talking with the Magic fan base. And I realize that Gavin is also a designer and not PR. But sometimes when there's something frustrating going on in the community, it's annoying that our only company mouthpiece is us harassing Mark Rosewater. And I think what we've seen recently is Mark Rosewater is an opinionated guy who not everyone agrees with. So when people are really upset about that Ravenform card, my general gist was, so was Mark. Yeah. And so we can have one person at the company say, like, yeah, maybe this is too good, but like Mark can't badmouth his coworkers, and it's not an official statement. And I realize we still haven't gotten like an official, hey, I'm the Wizard's mouthpiece, direct everything to me, like most video games do. But having a direct, hey, we're going to do this episode, and not some live stream where people kind of ramble, because as we know from the Secret Lair, the Walking Dead Secret Lair, having people just kind of ramble off script about stuff doesn't necessarily come off how you want it to. I was personally quite annoyed by that video, and had they sat down and prepared a statement, maybe I wouldn't have been so frustrated. So having a rehearsed, edited video where a not Mark Rosewater, and again, I love you, Mark, but it's nice to have it coming from more than one voice in the company, sit down and say, this is a problem, thank you for your feedback. And then he went and named like 3 content creators that have been throwing out a lot of, I would say good shade, but have been really calling for this. So to say, thank you for telling us this, we appreciate your communication, this is what we're going to do, these are the steps we're going to take, we can't tell you everything, but we're going to tell you some of this, we're going to do 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 this, and you can expect to see this in 12 months, over the next 12 months. That's huge.
Well, not just that, but like, we've been doing this for a while, y'all aren't going to see it for a while, but here's what we can tell you.
So it feels good to have multiple voices at the company acknowledging our frustrations, and this just seems so much more professional than the, hey, we're gonna have a Zoom call with the higher ups about something that's infuriated everybody. This is not as dire a situation, I would say, or at the very least as an emotionally fraught situation as the Walking Dead Secret Lair debacle. However, this has been an important and loud thing in the community, and to have it so well addressed and so professionally addressed was nice. I was watching the video. I don't know. I was very happy with it.
I would challenge that statement, Brent. I think for the not being as emotional of an issue, like the Walking Dead thing was a very emotional issue for you. I understand that, but oh God, like there are plenty of people who care more about them printing cards that they can play in the color that they like playing and the format that they like playing than about like a one-of like side thing.
Oh, absolutely fair. And like, yeah, I think that's fair enough. Walking Dead thing, it's precedent setting or this, that, or the other thing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect all that much stuff. Like the cards are out there, and I mean, it's a pandemic, so of course I haven't run into them in the wild. But yeah, it was very annoying, and I think it was an important thing. But yeah, this is arguably affecting way more people constantly. It's their most popular format, and one of the colors, like the 5 colors, isn't able to perform. So yeah, no, I think that's fair. This is arguably a much bigger deal, and it was handled. I mean, it's been a long time, and it's hard to say, like, okay, now it's all done. But to have such a clear response felt like a breath of fresh air for me.
Well, I mean, it's not done. Like, the fact of the matter is we have 20 years, let's say 15 years of good green and black cards in Commander. We've got, 25 years of good blue cards. We've got maybe 5-10 years of good red cards at this point.
And I would say, I mean, it's going to take time to build up, but like, it doesn't feel like that long ago that we were complaining about red and white, and then they started making changes in red, and now red
onward.
Yeah, and now red feels so much better.
Oh yeah.
And so as a mono red player and as someone who loves red and Commander, oh my gosh, the tools we've gotten have been so great. Like impulsive draw, the willingness to give us splashy effects that aren't just a 7-mana red enchantment. I'll bring out 6 mana. I totally 6 mana control Chandra that gives out red playing with permanent damage emblems. Like they're really doing interesting things that are accessible and make red much more of a force to be reckoned with in Commander. The willingness to do artifact reanimation and temporary graveyard reanimation. Like they really did give red some great tools. And I don't feel at a disadvantage playing with red, even though we don't have such a history of
token generation.
Red. Oh yeah.
It is still objectively the case that and I don't think we're ever going to be in a situation where the Sultai trio isn't disproportionately better in Commander, specifically green blue. Like I feel like there's never going to be a point where that's not going to be the case unless we really indulgent with the ban list.
I would say that's not a big of a problem, though, particularly as time goes on. Because so let's say there's 600 excellent blue cards, but there's only so many slots. So you might, when you go up against your opponent's commander deck, have to deal with multiple excellent blue cards, but there's enough of a selection of excellent blue cards that there are varied, powerful options.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's 300 excellent red cards. Now there's still way more blue ones, but if there's a wide enough selection of excellent red cards and a wide enough selection of excellent blue cards, it doesn't matter that there's 50%, there's double the amount of blue cards if there's enough good varied options that it's not all staples. And there's good choices to be made.
Related, Smothering Tithe is worth more than Ristic Study now.
So Kat was going to go to the store and was talking about ordering a bunch. And I was like, this was back... I was living in the world where standard rares go down at rotation. EDH does not affect standard rares. Do not buy... I specifically told her not to buy a bunch of them because it would go down at rotation. Yeah, that never happened. They've reprinted it multiple times, and it just spikes and spikes and spikes. So that was a good moment to be like, oh, things have... That was when I really started appreciating them saying, like, oh, Commander's the most popular format. Yeah.
Yeah, I start to, price-wise on cards, I almost think that the best time to buy a good rare is probably right when it comes out. Because it usually just, a lot of times, if it's a good rare that's going to see play in EDH and going to see play going forward, it's just going to go up.
And it's that dynamic of LGS standard players were quick to rotate through cards. When there was a large booming, when most of the active, outside of kitchen table players, there was a large force of standard players who would buy cards and trade and sell cards out to keep up with decks. When that group got smaller than I build commander decks and I keep them together forever, that's when it really started affecting card prices on cards that, if you would have put Smothering Tithe out 10 or 15 years ago, that's $1 rare. It would have never seen standard play. A few commander people would have picked it up, but then, pre-commander explosion, it's $1 rare. It's a couple dollar card. It's just not that powerful in 1v1 Magic. But if everyone's playing multiplayer and everyone wants to be able to try to compete with blue and green, and you're playing white, you bet I run that card in almost every white deck I've got because, oh my god, it's so good.
Here's what might actually bring the value of it down. Print more of that kind of effect.
Yep.
Print more profile cards to it. Make more things like it so that people have an option besides it. You can bring the price down by decreasing the demand for it.
Absolutely. And Gavin basically said they were going to. That was the card he brought up when we talked about that style of effect. I think he specifically talked about Smothering Tithe, and he said we're going to keep doing this sort of thing.
How? You can put Rule of Law in an uncommon. I think you can put the Mangara effect for playing a second, or more spell, draw a card on an uncommon. Slap that on a 5-mana white enchantment.
Yeah, I think you could put that as an uncommon white enchantment. And
it's those kind of cards don't ruin standard. They don't ruin eternal formats. They're great, and it's. Smothering Tithe is excellent, and I think it's a card that people had to realize was so good. But a lot of times when I'm playing Smothering Tithe, 50% or more of the time, people are paying the tax because they've realized.
Yeah, I don't respect Smothering Tithe like I do Ristic Study, and that's a problem.
My personal home play group has started respecting that card like Ristic Study, and people will take their draw and then start making decisions and am I going to pay this because Brett is sitting there with 6 treasures and is going to do some stupid dwarf-based activity. Dwarven Recruiter.
It's like that. Hang on. In your dwarf deck.
Oh. And that stupid coin flip red enchantment where you get to just keep making copies. I've lived the 7 dream. You just keep and it's great because you have Dwarven Recruiter in the deck, so you have a turn where you're like, you guys let me get 10 treasure. Dwarven Recruiter. The top of my library is all dwarves. Tap to Paula. Draw all these dwarves. Dwarf, 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 dwarf. Swing out with 1 million dwarves killing her ass.
Synergy.
And it's a Boros dwarf vehicle deck. So I get I get to build it as mean as I want, and it can only ever be so good. It's so
It
much
is
fun.
like the worst conceivable commander.
Worst color pair. Up until the recent set, it was one of the least supported tribes. Vehicles aren't that good because you need to have your deck filled with enough creatures and vehicles to make it like you have to run so many subpar cards. And then I'm running 7 vanilla creatures in the deck.
Okay, you don't get to call them vanilla.
Asika's Chariot would disagree with you.
I would argue that I mean, like, they're above rate vanillas, but they don't do anything. It's just a 3.
Is Tarmogoyf a vanilla creature?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with that statement, actually.
So I put those restrictions on my deck, but then it's been great. And so, sorry, we're totally off track of talking about my Dwarf EDH deck, but it's the only deck that I consistently want to play all the time.
I love that you still call it EDH.
Oh god, yeah, no, I'm gonna call it EDH till the day I die. Yeah.
Yeah, I got into it on a little bit of a. I've gained a second Magic group. Sorry, I'm cheating on y'all. I know, right?
I demand monogamy in all things, Jace.
Thank you for your conversion.
These are the true facts with Brett.
So sorry. I got into the why do we still call it EDH, and the consensus is it's easier to say and it is less typing than Commander is.
Okay, so here's the deal. I am the most like old guard Magic player of the three of us, and I consistently don't refer to it as EDH. I consistently call it Commander because when I'm talking about EDH, I'm also talking about the EDH mindset, the like 2000X mindset.
See, for me, Commander's better in every way. It makes all the sense in the world. Commander is what we should use. If I was going to do a series of videos, they'd say Commander. Mm-hmm. It was the word I learned. And it's ingrained in my brain, and it's not a big enough deal for me to have to switch. Like, I can do that. If I need to change something I'm saying because there's an issue, I can do it. But EDH and Commander doesn't feel important enough to take the effort, so I don't.
It feels so different to me. It's like if you still referred to like East Germany as East Germany.
So isn't there actually like an EDH that's still like in Canada or something that like has a different rule set than Commander?
Yeah.
Canadian Highlander, which Highlander having rule, I mean, people say Highlander instead of Singleton. Wizards will never say Highlander because Highlander, they don't want to deal with the copyright thing, which is another reason why Commander is the preferred term. I'm not going to sit here and argue for EDH. It's the word that comes out of my mouth when I'm thinking about when I'm not thinking. So,
shall we move on to Strixhaven?
You don't want to go play some EDH in the USSR? Anything else about Gavin's video we want to talk about?
Oh my god! Sorry, keep going. I need to do some math.
No, I was gonna wrap this up. Do we want anything else before we move to our ad break and then our next topic?
No.
JC, anything?
No, I'm good.
Well, I really want to say, Wizards, Gavin, I know you're definitely watching. Thank you. This was great. This is the kind of communication I want to see when there's an issue. I rarely get to say I'm completely satisfied with Wizards' response to something, but I'm going to give you a completely satisfied on this one. Thanks. That was great. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back, and we're going to talk about Strixhaven stuff that got announced today, or if you're watching this not live, on the 18th. So stick around. Ad break.
Hi, and welcome to the ads. This week we are brought to you by Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay? Are you looking to get into cosplay? In the future, do you want to show up at your favorite event dressed up as your favorite character? Well, then Card Custom Builds is here to help. Cards Custom Builds creates everything from props and trinkets and weaponries all the way up to full costumes. I've seen some of the costumes that they made. They are all fantastic. They're really good stuff. If you would like to get some awesome things for your cosplay or just cool stuff to have around, if you want to throw a Halloween party at the end of the year and be like the talk of your Halloween party, please go check out Cards Custom Builds over at Facebook and tell them about TCG University. Say that we sent you and you'll get 5% off your entire order. Please do this. They do a bunch of things over there. Clay is making a lot of really cool stuff. He makes coasters too. If you want to go get coasters, I think he's selling them on Etsy and on Facebook. So please, if you want to get some cool stuff for your cosplay or for anything, go check out Cards Custom Builds and tell them that we sent you. This week, we are also brought to you by Dex Protections. Dex Protections is in a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their designs and innovation come from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you, so you know that what they make is stuff that you will want to buy, because they are also making stuff that they would want to buy. They are on a never-ending pursuit to create the best product, and that is why they are the leader in the industry in creating accessories for your deck products. Please, if you would like to go get some new stuff for when we're finally able to go out into public and go to tournaments and stuff, go to Dex Protections, and there'll be a link down in the description down below for that. Please go check them out. We are also brought to you this week by Red Ride Games. They are a Canada-based online seller of things like universes, MTG, and Pokemon. They're friends of the show. We like them a whole lot. Please, 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 please go to redridegames.ca and check out all their singles there. And when you check out, use creator code TCGU to help support the show and help support them. It would be greatly appreciated. We like them a whole lot, and we would love it if you would use them to buy some singles for any upcoming tournaments that you might have towards the end of the year. Lastly, we are brought to you by Nuclear Ink Custom Tattoo and Skate Shop. At Nuclear Ink, you will find a very inclusive environment with artists that share interest in nerd culture and fandoms alike. Nuclear Ink prides themselves on Omaha's premier all-custom tattoo shop. If you are in the area and looking to get a custom tattoo, please check out Nuclear Ink here in Omaha. Link in the description down below. They're cool guys. We like them a whole lot. Yeah, they're really awesome. Please, if you're in the Omaha area and you want to get a tattoo, please go check them out. Thank you. We'll get back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, and we are going to talk about Strixhaven, the next set. Yes, Kaldheim is barely out, and we are now able to talking about the new stuff. So we got the 5 school names so it's Wizard School, and very specifically not just Harry Potter. And so I think it was somebody on Reddit suggested, and I mean, it's just supposition, but this sort of feels like, hey, we're going to release some Strixhaven cards now. Seems like we really want to get out ahead of this. It's like Magic Harry Potter. I think they really want to be like, it's not just Harry Potter. We aren't just doing Harry Potter. Look at these not Harry Potter-based things. So, I mean, good for Wizards for controlling the narrative, particularly if you don't want to be shoehorned into that idea. I'm super down for Wizard School. So we got 5 new commands, one for each of the school. So this is official Wizards previews too. These
so context. Commands. There have been 2 cycles of them so far. Generally, it's referring to an instant or sorcery that's got 4 abilities that you pick 2 of when you cast it.
One of the most famous and best of all the commands is Cryptic Command, a blue instant that does all of the things and wins you the game eventually because it's ridiculous.
So since we mentioned it by name, it's blue 1. It's an instant. It's 4 options that you pick 2 of: or counter target spell, return target non-land permanent to. Is it just permanent?
Maybe non-land.
Non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Tap all creatures target player controls and draw a card.
And you get 2 of those.
2 of the 4. You can't pick the same one twice. That's a different cycle in one of the commander decks.
So I'm pretty sure.
Target permanent. You're right. I'm wrong. Damn, that's really good. It's a really good card.
Creatures target player controls.
Your opponents.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, it's real good. So none of these necessarily look as ridiculous, but they're fun. They're great for multiplayer. They're great for Commander. The art on them is great. Again, we don't have time to necessarily talk specifically about each one of them, but it's nice to see a little bit about them. Each of the schools is an enemy color pair, so we've got an enemy color set, which it's been a while since we've had just enemy colors. Gosh, when was the last time we had just enemy colors? Because like we've had some. I mean, obviously the Ravnica we get everything.
I do.
Shadow Eventide.
Oh God, it's been since Eventide. So
Yeah, because I don't think Ravnica splits every time.
and then
it was Eventide, and that was a hybrid set.
And yeah, Khans was allied colors, or Dragons was allied colors.
And Khans was wedges.
I'm sorry, Jason, you were trying to say something?
Oh, no worries. I was just wondering if it'll ever catch on. Like if you're playing like a red-white deck, you'll call it Lorehold in the future after this set.
The experience with dragons.
The experiment with dragons would say no, but
yeah, the Ravnica ones are just so well done, and the names on Ravnica are generally really well chosen. I don't know if they appreciated at the time how like much those were going to get used, but like I've also seen a focus on Wizards, so like even when we're not in Ravnica, if it's red-white aggro, it'll be Boros aggro, even if there's not a single card in the deck with Boros in it. So I think there's just too much momentum, and seeing as we keep going back, like if we had not returned to Ravnica, maybe we would see that. But the fact that we keep going back and it's like it's the center of our multiverse at this point, I don't think they're going to usurp.
Yeah, well, even when we have like the names for the wedges, if it's not like decidedly that color trio or in a standard that has like strong 3-color decks, it'll still be called like, you know, Boros Black or something like that.
Yeah.
Or if it's like instead of Mardu, because you know it is odd to me how much staying power the Ravnica names in particular have. And I think it's because there's been a Ravnica set right around the crest of like 3 big surges into the game.
And I would also say that more and more I do see Mardu coming up. I think Wizards has taken an effort to name their decks consistently, and when they went to cons, they very clearly made sure to make names that would stick. Because I mean, there were old wedge names. There were previous wedge names, but they weren't focused on the way that the Alara Shards were named, the guilds were named, or the different cons. I realize.
Well, yeah, even the Alara Shards weren't named as like resonantly. Like I think they've still stuck around, and I think they were better for this. They were clearly post Ravnica, but they like I do think creative. There's like pre-Ravnica and post-Ravnica.
Yeah, no, I would
creatively Mirrodin and Kamikawa are both kind of a jumbled mess, just like Onslaught was.
Oh gosh, it's weird that anyway. Okay, tangent. Okay, Strixhaven, enemy colors. The other interesting thing is I'm totally I don't have the name of what they are going to be called in this, but the specialty art version for this set is there's going to be 63 instants and sorceries with special arts and borders, and various reprints. Some of the ones we've seen are Swords to Plowshares and Demonic Tutors, so we've got some really splashy ones. The thing that's particularly interesting here is there's going to be one in each pack. So they aren't necessarily all going to be that strong, and they will not be standard legal, but they will be playable in limited. And so
it is called Mystical Archive.
Yes, okay. And the general theme is it's sort of like, literature-y text kind of thing, or arcane sort of thing. So like one of the Demonic Tutors flavor text is from like a scroll case. So they're leaning into the wizard school thing. This is a huge departure. So we've had masterpieces. So it's not unheard of to print non-standard cards into draft packs, but a 1-to-1 ratio is very new. I'm curious to see the power level of the bulk of these, because like the occasional spiky powerful card, not a huge deal, but like Swords to Plowshares is some pretty good limited removal. So if there's multiple Swords to Plowshares in your draft, that's a game changer. If a fourth of these cards are powerful removal spells, that means that a quarter of every pack has incredibly powerful removal. That is a very different limited environment. So I'm very curious to see this list.
I mean, it's all instants and sorceries too. So, I mean, I think there are obvious ones that are going to be in there. I think we're going to get a lightning bolt. I think we're going to get a counterspell. We could get a force of will.
Yeah. No, and it's the interesting thing is because they're instants and sorceries, that's not as bomby. Certainly there are bomby instants and sorceries, but it's more a limited bomb is much more likely to be a permanent. So I'm curious what a limited environment that has more removal and interaction looks like, and what you have to then do with the permanents. Another interesting thing, we have some box art, and we have two of my favorite walkers coming back, Will and Rowan Kenrith. So we can assume they're going to be in the set, and I am quite comfortable to put some money down to say that while there will be some, I think it's a spell permanent modal dual face cards, I would not be surprised if their Planeswalker card is a modal dual face one.
That would be.
It's just so easy. Like, this is the perfect time to do it. So, it's not a guarantee, but I am quite confident that that's what we're going to see. And I've certainly been wrong before, literally on this episode, but I think that's a cool opportunity.
Gosh, if it is modal, then that means they would really only be taking up one Planeswalker spot in the set too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those leaks that are going around, I don't think those are real, but I do think we're going to get Jin Cataxias.
No, yeah, I think we're going to.
It makes sense to put him in Wizard School.
And like, it's mild story spoilers. I haven't read this, but it was related to me. Like, the Phyrexians have managed extraplanar travel. I mean, clearly Vorinclex was another place, but like, he was on a mission and he went back to Phyrexia. So if you're going to slowly put the Phyrexians in each set, you put the blue wizardy smart guy at Wizard School. So yeah, I think it's absolutely reasonable to expect a Jin Cataxias.
And then Norton's a big bad for when we go back.
Yeah, or we just keep, or we'll for the next 5 sets. Like, there's not. If they put a Praetor into the D&D set, I will be floored. But I think Innistrad.
So Shieldred's dead.
Shieldred's dead. Okay.
And Urabrask is on the side of the rebels.
Yeah. Hiding.
So it would be funny to think to have like Urabrask in the D&D set, like looking for allies.
I would be so down with that.
It's
but
funny.
but yeah, so that I'm trying to think of what else we know. Clearly we don't have a ton of new information about this set. I think the biggest thing is just this is Wizards really pushing the boundary of what their alternate art frame cards can be. So literally
It's so pretty.
Oh yeah, no, and it's basically it feels like a secret lair. It feels like they shuffled like 10 secret lairs into this set, and like
I mean, our title art for this is Quadrix Command, which I think has great art. Also Prismari Command, it has awesome art.
Oh, all the command arts make me think of the Khan's Ascendancy enchantments, which were really good. Very much like the everyone do a cool pose. They're taking a quick picture. Everyone do a cool pose. So yeah. Also, good news. There is because it's enemy colors, there will be a Simic school. So we do have the opportunity for another format warping standard bannable Simic mythic.
Can we not have the words land or draw on it?
Hey, the new serpent one. The serpent one from Kaldheim, I actually might build because it doesn't say land draw cards. It does interesting things that I want to potentially build around instead of, hey, you want to just have a bunch of card advantage then win? Here you go. Sorry, I'm bracing for some broken Simic garb. Maybe we have enough time from this set's design for them going, oh wow, we really botched Oko. So maybe they'll have enough sense to be like, let's not ruin standard again.
I just want a book from the Wizard School to be like banned book, and its effect is create a 3/3 elk as someone's creature.
I want them to print R&D Secret Lair into Black Border.
Oh my lord. Training Grounds reprint, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
There was one other exciting thing that most people may not be excited for. They are doing 2 templating changes. One, converted mana cost is now mana value. For example, a card with a lesser or equal mana value instead of CMC. And also, we have dropped some superfluous text off of shuffle, so no longer do you have to shuffle your library. You can search a library for a card and shuffle. So that's great, just text-wise. It's not a big deal, but it helps to stop having those real small rules text and you got to put in shuffle your library. what
Good
else
news
is
for
there
all
to
those brewmaster monks out there.
is that a WoW joke?
Yeah, it's a WoW joke.
Okay. I know enough to know it was a WoW joke, but not anything past that. But
I like it. CMC's real crunchy. Mana value makes sense.
It's shorter. I think both of them take a little explaining, and I don't think it's hard explaining. I mean, it's one of those quick things. You have to tally up the generic cost and the colored cost, and that's your converted mana cost. That sentence can just be, you've got to tally up the generic cost and the colored cost. That's your mana value. It's still a sentence you have to say, but it's shorter. It's shorter.
Okay.
And shorter is more convenient.
I do have some thoughts on this. So, sure, like actually explaining to someone is a similar thing, right? But I think mana value as a phrase, not only is it shorter, it's like a third of this, it's like 2/3 of the syllables, and it's like half the characters on a card. But on top of that, I think the meaning of those words in plain English is closer to the concept. Whereas I think if you were to have a new player look at this and instead of telling them what it means, you ask them, what does this mean? So you have two hypothetical players, one that kind of knows how to play Magic and plays for a little bit, and then another that is just starting. Like if they were trying to sort out what this meant, I think they will more often than not get the right answer from mana value over converted mana cost, because I think converted mana cost on its own seems like it should mean what did you actually pay for this spell after all reductions and increases and all that nonsense.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think they're both a little crunchy. I think mana value is slightly less crunchy. I think it's marginally superior, and I think it being marginally easier to understand and much shorter is worth it. I think it's got a lot.
So many lines.
Yeah, no, I just think it's convenient, and it's one of those. Magic being almost 30 years old will always suffer from we changed it. But I'm glad that R&D is settling more on the side of we changed it. And Morrow's question answer thing for Kaldheim, they brought up why did we name the Phyrexians? And basically they didn't do it the first time, and then the second time they're like, yeah, that'd be great. Wish we would have done it, but we didn't do it, so we're not going to do it. And apparently that conversation happened like 3 times, and then finally someone was like, every time this comes up, we say we wish we'd done it, we're doing it. And it's the same for Hounds, and it's the same for every other time they do this. It is confusing. It's confusing that some old spells say target player, and that means Planeswalker, and the new version of that says something different. But we are moving towards a future that's easier to understand. And when you're starting to get into a 25-year-old card, you might have to check it online. But we're in a much more digital world. We're in a world where you can check that you have a supercomputer in your pocket that can give you the updated text. A lot of Magic is being played digitally, and they're reprinting more cards aggressively. And I would rather live in the world where Wizards will say, yeah, it's confusing if there's contradictory cardboard out there, but it's going to be better for the game if we change it.
Right. And I mean, in short, today is the first day of the rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, you can take this. Yeah, I think you can apply this to a life lesson. You can keep doing the thing you've been doing that isn't a great idea because that's how you've always done it. Or you can change, and the change might be inconvenient. The change might be hard. But do the thing that's smarter. I am not a life coach or a financial advisor. Do not listen to anything that I say. I need to just get that under my nameplate on the video at all times. Just a little asterisk by my head.
Man.
I am not any of these things. Don't ever listen to what I have.
Totally unqualified.
Completely. Ooh, can our like show shirts, the official TCGU shirts, just say what would it, completely unqualified?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that should be our catchphrase. MTG Study Hall, completely unqualified.
All I'm saying is we need some instant and sorcery subtypes yesterday.
Yeah.
Do it. Just fucking do it. And then a lot of lightning bolt.
Interrupt. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Bring back
Subtypes, Jason.
interrupts.
And mana sources.
Like, I will yield that maybe there are some things that, like, if you could go back and redesign Magic, like mayhaps there are some things that it's too ingrained in the bones of the game to change it up.
But like, can you think of like an instant or sorcery that wouldn't have like a semi-obvious? Elemental type.
I mean, I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, we're going much more and more digital, and like the day, if they can ever roll out a digital paper hybrid of the game, I think is the day they start doing massive changes like that. But that's a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
But
give me lightning bolt, instant dash lightning.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a little bit. Oh boy, we're going back to our roots, our crazy tangent-filled roots. So that is Strixhaven. With a little we know. So we have 5 cards to look at. We know a little bit about the schools we've gotten. I think we have a little bit of flavor info too.
Not a lot of Strixes so far.
No, I'm still expecting we'll probably have a much higher like standard number of Strixes, but higher than normal Strixes is what, 4, 5?
Hollow Strix reprint.
Which one's that? Is that the really good one?
Draw a card, Death Touch one?
No. Yeah, because that's what we need in a world where...
Oh, no, that's not Tide Hollow. Hold on.
I'm just saying, I don't think the Esper Rogues deck needs that, and I don't think the Death Touch deck needs that.
That's Baleful Strix, excuse me. Baleful Strix reprint.
I will be very surprised if we get a Baleful Strix reprint into Standard. That is a really good Magic the Gathering card. Now... Well, no, that's an ally color pair too. So
it wouldn't be that bad in Standard.
I don't know. Well, it's also an ally color pair.
True.
One other thing we know is the commander decks are going to be Strixhaven themed, so we're probably going to get a house deck for each deck, which I really like. I like that.
Or, hear me out. We're going to get teacher themed, and it's going to be sharks or wedges.
That could be. I like what they do with the Coria. Like it's like, oh, we have all this extra stuff we want to put in, so. I'd rather just, like, flesh out the schools and just be like, here's this, here's that. And we're going to get, like, okay, we're just doing blatant predictions. We're going to get a bullshit 5-color headmaster who's way too good.
Oh, my God, yeah. They can just redo, what's this bucket from Dominaria?
Yeah, the Jeskai one who's got the 5.
Baron?
I was going to say...
Joda, yeah. Sorry, it's Joda, I think.
You know, so we're going to get some bullshit 5-color legend that's going to ruin Brawl again and just be a giant 5-color good stuff deck. We're going to get Dumbledore, the Brawl ruiner. I'm quite comfortable saying that card's going to come out. But, yeah, any other final thoughts on Strixhaven?
Okay, so that's your prediction. What's your prediction, JC?
My prediction, which I hope comes true, is that we get a bunch of awesome anime school variant cards to Strixhaven. Like, I want Japan just to go wild on that.
Yeah, because they said there was another thing about it that the Japanese group was announcing tonight. And, like, I feel like if they were going to do a Harry Potter tie-in, they'd have announced that. I'm super glad they didn't. As a trans woman, I'm super fucking glad they didn't, just personally. But
if they do a My Hero tie-in, that's going to... Again, never...
I want my Hero cards. That's all I'm saying.
That would make a lot of people happy, and I would be in full support of making all you weebs happy.
Can we dunk on the Universe's kids?
Oh yeah, no. If we have My Hero cards in Magic, I feel like we just invade. I think we get to take over their show for a week and just talk about Magic. I made that decision. We're just gonna go live when they go live and see if we can trick people into watching our live show.
I mean, I don't think All Might's really that good. Like, he's not really playable.
I don't know about universes to bullshit. Any final thoughts before we wrap the episode up?
My prediction is Jin Cataxius posing as the teacher.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable one. So, okay. Alrighty, that has been us. That is MTG Study Hall. Thank you all for tuning in. We unfortunately are not going to be able to do a post-show today. We have to end because JC has something she's got to take care of, and she is producing the show. So sorry about that. We'll do a longer one next time. How about that? So we'll do a little bit extra for you, so we don't steal your content. Normally, if you want to catch the pre-show to this or the normal post-show, you just have to throw $1 on Patreon. Then you get the link to the Discord where we put all the live shows, so you can heckle us in chat, interact with us while we do the shows, and you get to skip the ad break. So that is there if you're interested. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. However you do so, we appreciate your support. We will catch you in 2 weeks, and make sure to remember who you are. Bye-bye.